The afternoon starts with the network abuse BOF report, which will be delivered by the Frank from APNIC Secretariat. Thank you, Frank.
Slides. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Frank Solonitri from APNIC. Just giving a report on the network abuse BOF. The BOF was held on Tuesday, 15th of September, and it ran from 5:30 p.m. until 7:15. We're a little bit over, and it was in the Lincoln Room, and we had about 34 people attended. And there were a variety of discussions throughout the presentations. We talked about global collaboration efforts. We talked about training for law enforcement agencies and the legal sector, roles of certs, their proactive and reactive efforts. We had some cert status updates, a discussion about a malware eradication project, and also some interesting discussion on the role of the IRT who-is objects. So going through the list of speaker in order of presentations. First of all, we had Scott Brown from CERT Australia. He gave an update on the CERT. He gave a really nice explanation about how the CERT works, its relationship with ASIO and other government organisations, as well as some of their efforts that they're undertaking at the moment. Then we had Craig Ning from APNIC talking about the global collaboration. He also went into discussion about the efforts that we're undertaking in terms of providing training to law enforcement agency. I think this was in the discussion earlier on, asking about law enforcement agencies, that no, we don't act as a law enforcement agency. We're actually out there providing training, like basic training to law enforcement agencies, like what is who is, what's an IP address, what's the header of an email address, so doing training like that. Next, I presented a presentation for ID Cert. It was on behalf of Ahmed Al-Kazimi. He was unfortunately unable to travel here to our conference. So I gave an update of their cert and a report on the numbers of reports that they're getting, the number of, this was year-to-date figures, the number of queries that they've received and been able to reply to and resolve. Then we also had, this was a first timer to our conference, Azwami Fadhala from Cybersecurity Malaysia. He also likes to be called Dr. AA. You might know him as that title. He was talking about a malware eradication project framework that they've come up with, and I think at this stage they're looking for funding and trying to move on that project. Then we had Barry Brayley from the New Zealand Internet Task Force, and he was talking about how in their country, New Zealand, they don't have a national cert, but it's more so a group of trusted volunteers that work together to resolve issues as a community. And finally, we had Aftab Siddiqui from CyberNet, and he gave a cert status for Pakistan. But also he brought up, as he has in other conferences, interesting discussions on the IRT object and what APNIC could do further to improve on things like accuracy and the use of. So for the next conference, I've had lots of feedback, not just from this conference, but from previous BOFs as well, that we should run the BOF on the same day as the security tracks. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do it this time because it coincided with the EC cocktail event. So we weren't able to do it straight after those tracks. Also, that we should try to schedule the BOF earlier in the afternoon, and also try not to have any competing sessions as well. With the BOF. I think this time we had 2 other BOFs that we were competing with at the same time. And I've also had comments from quite a few people that maybe we should try to make it a mainstream session, but keep the format as it is now. Not having to have a formal proposal process for the paper, but to keep this format of short, concise presentations, say a 10-minute presentation, 5-minute questions. So people really enjoy that format, as they really seem to get a lot of succinct key information in that short period of time. And we're also within that same time frame, we're also able to fit in a lot more speakers by doing that. And also, I think continuing on from the questions and the great discussion that AFTAB's brought up, I think we'd like to continue discussion on IoT objects. AFTAB's been bringing up the issue of possibly doing an annual validation of IoT contacts. We've been discussing about how to minimise the actual spam that is directed to the IoT objects. I mean, it's great keeping those contacts up to date, that's great, but then spammers love us as well, because they've got valid email sets that they can keep spamming. And we also need to look at ways of possibly improving the way that we share IoT object contact information, maybe with other agencies, law enforcement, government agencies, possibly other countries, certs in various countries as well. So that's my report for the network abuse BOF. Does anyone have any questions at all for me?
Questions or comments?
Yes, Dean.
Frank, I actually have a question on this.
All right.
From here.
Go up.
Sorry, I didn't see you over there.
It didn't sound like me, did it, Frank?
I mean, it seems like the problem you identified about competing sessions seems like the apricot or the APNIC PC was not aware of what's going on in your world. And I'm on the APNIC PC, and we had no idea what's going on. And we see the agenda come up suddenly with the whole list. And so I think that would have solved the problem if there was better coordination with the PC that was tasked to do the technical program. But in general, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to ask the members how much focus we should do on the security stuff, because apparently we are conflicting with IPv6 in the agenda. And if we are competing with IPv6 and we want to do more security, I don't agree with that. I think there is a time and place for doing security, but probably APNIC meeting is not one of them, especially when it competes with IPv6 related sessions, because for us, IPv6 should be a priority. But I'd like to hear the membership comment on that.
Okay. Thank you, Gaurav. Then Sunny seems to have some
I
quick.
just want to comment on what Gaurav said. We actually plan to have that on Wednesday, but to accommodate meet the EC cocktail, we have to put everything on Tuesday afternoon. Otherwise, we do span them out. So this time we couldn't do it, but next time maybe we'll try. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I think Dean is first, and after is following.
Actually, Gaurav pretty much covered what I was going to say. Is that I think security is really important, but rather than being a fringe topic now, which it probably was early on, I think it fits right in with there with all the rest of the technical stuff. So just move whatever topics are appropriate back into the technical stream, and then we'll uncover them, and there'll be a lot less overlap.
Can I comment on that as well, Dean? So remember, the APNIC conference, we've got a lot more control over. Apricot is a lot different now. Going back to what I said, the format, though, we want to keep the same. We don't want to have to present a 45-minute presentation for review and discussion. But it's not a lightning talk, so we don't ask for people to come and present ad hoc. It's a bit more formal than that, but we have a short discussion window where instead of people pad out a presentation for 45 minutes, it's succinct points, clear and to the point, and we managed to get through a lot more presentations and a material which people seem to like.
Awesome. Well, as as chair of the Apricot PC, come and see me, and we'll see how we can maybe fit that in.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Aftab.
Aftab Siddiqui Sabinet. As part of the network abuse BOF, I just want to clarify a couple of things that we have been having this BOF for last, we started this in APNIC 32, and since then we have been having this regularly except APNIC 35. I'm not sure why we didn't do that. Anyway, so it's been happening quite regularly and with an informal structure, as Frank suggested. And we have been seeing quite a lot of people showing up. Unfortunately, as it's always after 5:30, so sometimes only very few people are left behind to join us during the sessions. So my request is to put it in the mainstream program if it is possible, like as Gaurav suggested that it was not aware, like PC was not aware of it. And I have no doubt that our first priority is IPv6. I think we didn't project it properly, but what we were discussing in Network Abuse Bob was quite interesting. And if people join us, then they'll find that we were not talking about certs only. We were talking about a lot of things, which Frank also summarized in a couple of lines. So we need to give more time to these sessions as well. I have my reservations for the complete security track we had on the second day or third day. I'm not sure which day it was. But again, it's PC to decide, not me. And I'm not sure if it should be our primary focus or not. I'm talking about the security track individually. There were a couple of presentations which might be beneficial for the APRICOT crowd, not for the APNIC in general. Again, my point of view only. So these are the comments, and I would suggest PC to put this network abuse BOF in as mainstream line. Thank you.
Many thanks. Masato?
Thank you. This is my personal comment about Gaurav's question. From my point of view, basic is certainly still important, but right now we don't have not so many technical update, just implementation report or implementation progress like that. 4 or 5 years ago, the situation was totally different, like 6LD, like that. Okay, but security, we have many ongoing crimes. Then it is our responsibility to maintain accurate database and also provide that to people who need it, because we are registries. So I think security also has very high priority right now.
Go ahead, Skip.
Skip Stevens, Ian Teleco. Masato-san actually just said some of the things that I was going to say. Some people have heard my views on IPv6. I'm an engineer. I love IPv6. I've been doing it for years. I actually don't care about IPv6 in the slightest now. It's actually part of my day-to-day operations and when I build networks. And I think over the last few years and some of the training now for IPv6 is a matter of training more people from the past, the older crowd that built networks over the years. Most of the engineers and the young ones I hire these days don't even see V6 as different as anything as V4 was what they do. When they're doing their CCNAs and the JNCAs, V6 is just part of their life. So we're still doing some knowledge transfer, but we're kind of reaching critical mass now. This is not a new thing anymore. And if IPv6 is a new thing to you, then you've probably got your own set of problems you need to deal with, because it has been around for a number of years. I mean, even at ISOC, we had how many exhausted of IPv6 summits for the last 10 years or something, until it just fizzled out because there wasn't really that much new things to say or anything else like that, which is just what Masato said, where security is not going to change. It is going to be at the forefront, critical, cross-border crimes. I'm involved with a whole bunch of different issues with some law enforcement of trying to figure out, okay, a VoIP system got hacked from Egypt or China. What do you do? There's lots of different things going on at the moment, and that's not going to change in any way. V6 is going to make some things more difficult, and it's going to make some things more easier. But what's happening with security is, in my opinion, far more a priority than IPv6. I believe IPv6 still certainly has some significance at the moment, but my view of IPv6 is it's a very, very big elephant, and no matter how hard you push it forward or you try and pull it forward, it's going to go at its own rate, and people are going to move when they need to move, as opposed to the adoption. If you don't know what IPv6 is these days, then that's something different. But I think pretty much everyone in the rooms and everyone technical probably does it day to day, and most of the people in the community, I do remember 4 or 5 years ago at APNIC conferences where it was very new and there wasn't much, and in some of the countries I operate, like Cambodia, there was no dual stack transit and there was things like that. I think that would be very rare these days, especially with tunnelling options and so forth, that anyone, anywhere should be able to get IPv6 and so forth. So I think we made serious progress, but I still see people daily, even in Western countries like Australia, very much so struggling with security issues on. And the problem with that security, it's not just, V6 is simple, it's network engineering and addressing. Security is every single platform. Like, how secure will my new Apple Watch be? Where is it vulnerable? We've got new platforms, new technologies, so many different operating systems which do
Can I interrupt you, Steve? Can I interrupt you?
I don't know where you are to interrupt you. Oh, there you are.
That's the
Lots of
benefit of
faces,
being
sorry.
up here. I have a mic in front of
Yeah.
me. So it's a reflection question back to the audience and to Frank. So the reason I asked this question is, if you look at the agenda of the network abuse BOF, the agenda there has no topics that is related with what APNIC can do for its members. I mean, we can't sit at an APNIC meeting and talk about everything about security. There are dedicated security conferences that goes on for weeks, right? And on the agenda, there's a bunch of update about certs, but there is nothing about, database problems. There's a huge task force at ICANN that is dealing with new WHOIS formats. And a whole push on that is based on abuse and law enforcement. I mean, if you follow the ICANN world, then this whole extended contract renegotiation is all, being done by law enforcement people. And what I'm not seeing that in the network abuse BOF is that's what we need to focus on, and not, start talking about how people do certs and deal with malware, because that is none of APNIC business. I mean, there's dedicated forums for it. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is what we focus in the network abuse BOF must relate to what is related with what APNIC's core function is, which is the objects in the database. And that's what I'm asking is, I'm not seeing content in our network abuse BOF or in the security BOF that relates to what is APNIC's day-to-day business.
Yes.
And that's what my question to the ground is. If we can't do that, then why bother with it?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't specifically talking about like full-on technical training, more conceptual training. And where I see APNIC is as a facilitator in the region. Even training relating to dealing with, sort of uniform processes of dealing with law enforcement agencies in your country, neighbouring countries, standard information, tracking things down, a clearinghouse for information. I think there actually should be a lot more discussion about where APNIC can sit with law enforcement agencies across 56 economies, so that if I have a hacking event from Myanmar, I wouldn't even know where to start. And I mean, I realise this is only our region, and if it extends outside the APNIC region, it'd be great if there was coordination amongst all the RARs and the law enforcements in their regions. But fostering this communication with thousands and thousands of service providers, APNIC can certainly help in this space and help train people especially in the way they communicate and what needs to be communicated and what standard response and processes are to foster that communication, not necessarily how I configure firewalls and things like that.
Thank you. Aftab.
Hi, Aftab Siddiqui, APNIC. I just need to clarify a couple of things, which I got after Masato's and Skeev's response. I was saying that IPv6 should get priority over security session. Why? Because in the security session, we had a presentation from South Korean CERT and AP CERT. in network abuse BOF, we already had a presentation for ID CERT, AUS CERT, Australian CERT, Malaysian CERT, and NZ-ITF. So why they were in security session and then on the network abuse session? So my only point was to give priority to IPv6 and of course to security, but to security concern, not to the CERTs. Discussion on heartbeat, that was part of the security session, that was awesome. It should be part of it. So we learn from the security incidents like Skeev was suggesting, not from the CERTs experiences. In my presentation, I didn't talk about CERT specifically. Only one slide was related to the Pakistan CERT. Otherwise, we were discussing about the IIT object. And that was the core of our network abuse BOF in previous sessions, in previous events. So my idea is to reflect more towards what APNIC's responsibility is in the network abuse BOF, and we will do it in next sessions as well. But having CERTs getting more sessions in the regular program and not the actual network abuse BOF getting more time during the regular program, like daytime between now 9 to 5. That was my actual question. Not saying that security is not priority of APNIC or not. I hope that clarifies a couple of things or complicated more. Thank you.
Thank you. I have the poll in the queue.
Just an observation. I agree with Skeev and what several people have said here about the growth of security as a concern, as revealed by various meetings and interactions with the community and in the APNIC survey and so on. Security has really overtaken IPv6 as a pressing concern. The latest survey, though, reveals that it hasn't completely replaced IPv6. IPv6 is still up near the top of the list, and so we're going to have to juggle those things. And I think if you haven't seen it, then I'd recommend you take a look at the member survey the survey report to really see what has been said there. And what I think we can also do is a bit of correlation with geographical region and with the types of organisations that are making requests or seeing security and/or IPv6 at different levels of their own priorities. I'll mention something else that's happening this year. The training team has been very busy, but they've been working during the year without a manager, as we said goodbye to Champika and he moved on to ICANN after many years. But we do have a new training manager starting in November. We also have a plan for a training needs analysis, which is a more detailed subject-specific and geographic survey of what are the training needs around the region. So I'd ask you all to keep an eye out for that and to contribute to that survey. But it should give us much more information prior to the next meeting about what are the expectations and the needs. Now that doesn't mean that APNIC is going to be able to jump to every need that is out there or every request that is made of us, but it'll give us a lot of data that we can consider and make decisions on. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Then that's maybe all for the comments for the abuse BOF report. Thank you very much, Frank. Then next speaker is the Masato Yamanishi, who kindly took the responsibility for the moderation of the IANA Shift transition the transition session. And then I'd like to remind you that yes, I know that you have a lot of good idea which should be shared with all of the people here, but please be mindful to get it concise, and then we can enjoy the many people to comment in the reports. With that, thank you, Masato.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I was thinking almost 4 days before accepting this moderator role. Anyway, so this is the moderator's report about consultation session IANA stewardship transition. We held this session on September 17th, which is this Wednesday. Then the objectives of this session are getting better understanding for this transition in this community, and also discussing draft proposal for the transition plan from number perspective. Then agenda was first one is a introduction of and background explanation about IANA stewardship transition by Paul Wilson. And the second one is a explanation about draft proposal by our EC chair. And also third one is not so big one, but Craig also mentioned about the gap in current contract between ICANN and NRO, because currently we also have a contract between ICANN and US government. So we don't need to cover everything by this existing contract. But after the transition, we also need to cover terms which defined by which restricted by U.S. government. So that may be a gap from contract perspective. Then we had a discussion about draft proposal. Then this is a draft proposal. This table looks like quite simple, but actually we just started this discussion, but so this is still quite simple. And we have three principles, but first one is actually not principle. So first one is the US government to terminate the IANA contract. So it's out of control from us. So I think it is assumption of this discussion. Then they will terminate this contract the end of September in next year. And the second one is keeping technical stability and continuity. Then proposed transition plan for this principle is first one is that ICANN to continue as operator of IANA until further notice. And second one is NRO to enter into a SLA with ICANN before the end of June in next year. Then third principle is keeping transparency, consistency, and completeness in all arrangement. That is third principle. Then transition plan for this is NRO. Firstly, NRO to review current agreements with ICANN before the end of this year. And also NRO to enter into AOC with ICANN before the end of June. Then after the discussion, community accepted this concept, and also we will continue discussion for more details until December. I will explain more timelines at the last slide. Then also three major points are raised in the discussion. First one is other 4 RIRs will also discuss this topic until December, and outcomes from RIR will be compiled in NRO at the end of December. Also, the relationship between ICANN and RIRs is a partnership, not a customer supplier. We need to consider this point. And third one is a synchronization with other internet communities in this region, like especially APTLD, because they are working in namespace, and also they exist in same region. So this kind of synchronization will be needed once the proposal will become firm. Yeah, officially, this kind of coordination will be done by ICZ, but we don't have any reason why we will not have such synchronization within our region. We don't have any such reason, so it's a good idea to have such discussion. Then last slide shows our next steps. So we are right now we are in first milestone, and we will continue to have discussion on the IANA export mailing list until the end of November. And after that, in December, NRO will compile each RIR proposal, then make one proposal. Then it will be submitted to ICZ in next January. That's the major milestone of this milestone of further discussion.
Thank you very much, Masato. Any questions or comments? No? Okay, as Masato said, that we will have the ongoing discussion for this topic, and not only the IP address. IP address is of course our central agenda for the IANA function, but also we have the IETF discussion and names discussion in ICANN. So it is very dynamic, and then they are all interacting each other. Then please keep track of the discussion at the IANA expert APNIC mailing list, and then we will have the online discussion to improve and develop our idea to the concrete shape. Then thank you very much, and I really appreciate Masato for your very fantastic moderation. Thank you.
I also very appreciated your cooperation for facilitating the discussion. It's very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next item is the another report from one session, whose name is the BOF Corporation SIG PPAC session. Could I have the slide here? All right, I will deliver the report from this session. This is a bit complicated title, and why it is so? Oh, okay. I don't use this. Put it away. All right. All right. This is what somewhat I said to the session participants. EC had a decision to propose the PPAC, which is the Public Policy Advisory Council, have been active for 2 years, and to have it evolve to the standardized SIG format and some additional purpose. Then EC's decision in our May meeting was that to have the PPAC, to propose to the PPAC people to have the PPAC change into the corporation SIG. Then to comply to the SIG guideline, to formulate the formation of the SIG, we definitely need both. So this time we have PPAC session as well as both session for formation of the corporation SIG. Then scope could include scope of the corporation SIG is have several aspects. One is a public policy, which the governments are responsible for, and internet governance. We had a lot of discussion on there, and network security regulation, law enforcement cooperation, who is privacy, such kind of thing. We don't have many people from this kind of segment, but still really relevant to the for us, for you. Many of you are operating the network infrastructure. Then that kind of corporation, the naming of the corporation is to have the APNIC community to have someone not really familiar to us to cooperate to our community, and of course in a different direction we cooperate to such a people. Then it is modeled after RIPE Corporation Working Group, which is very active, and then the RIPE Corporation Working Group starting with involving what's started to engage the government people. That is my understanding, but it is now extending its mandate not only the government, but similar as I said, different segment of the community to cope with this IP address community. Then both was held in Tuesday, 11 a.m. to the 12:30, and attendance we have the 30 people, the 22 delegates in person, the 6 Adobe Connect, and two persons were observing this through YouTube. And we have the webcast video for this, and the presentation slides also available for this. Then we have quite good discussion there. Here is some of those comments. One is a bit negative comment, but the process is not really good. The EC submission for the this intention to have the PPAC meeting as the BOF for the formation of the SIG. It is really late, kind of last minute. Then it is quite valid comment, and we tried very hard, but we need to do some coordination to make it happen. Then it is all bad to have the quite short notice for this. Then evolution, that means the PPAC, which were trying to have the public policy discussion among us, and some intention to extend our reach to the other segment of our community. But this Cooperation 6 idea is and then another problem with the PPAC is the PPAC is ad hoc setup that EC agreed to have some extent of the activity for them, but having it into SIG format, the SIG is a quite standardized process, and standardized process benefiting us with quite streamlined process and organized way of the proceed the SIG. So it is a lot of the benefit to this. Then another idea comment was the scope and support to include the governments in the new SIG. So this is a very pretty much of the quite initial agenda for the when the working group for government and the GAC. That's we have PPAC was transformed from the government working group, WG government, and which is the purpose for which was to form the GAC, Government Advisory Committee, which is right now in action in the ICANN community, in APNIC as well. Then that's including the government is quite pretty much of the original idea for that. Then I think the proposal from our side is not really good enough to represent our intention, which actually our intention actually has the aspect of the involving the government people. So there was a concern that it should be effective and active, and will it have enough support? And this is another concern, valid concern, and we need to work on that. So I expect much that this SIG will have the really good support. So here is the draft charter. The draft charter is actually shared with you I think 1 week before, but in accordance with the discussion in this BOF session, we had a slight change in the draft charter. The point of change is underlined, which says that in the first bullet, in the last part, but which involve governments, other organizations, and other communities. The original text says that, but which involve other organizations or other communities. So that's, the intention of this fix is to include explicitly the governments in this draft. All other part is unchanged. So right now, I'd like to have it, as a proposal of this SIG, in accordance with the SIG guideline, we need to have the endorsement at the AMM to have the SIG formed. Craig, you have very excellent clarification.
Thank you, Akinori. Just an invitation to the people here and online that if they would like to participate in this consensus call using Confer, for them to log in using Confer, confer.apnic.net. And you can log in immediately and we'll get the consensus call shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, yes, we pretty much would like to try Confer. Then, we are now creating the expression conferate. Yes, let's conferate. Then please prepare for that, Masato.
Sorry, can you go back to the draft charter?
Yep, please. That's on my hand. That's not on my hand.
Yeah, no. No, not move.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just, one more back, go back.
Charter.
Yes.
One side back. Oh, I
One
can
straight
do
back,
that.
yes.
All right.
Yes, this one. I just want to make it clear, second and third point was not in original draft, but I asked to add these two items. Actually, I captured this one from Live NCC's Corporation SIG Charter. So I just want to make it clear, this one.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. Really good point. Then, are you ready to confer?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I'm going back to the SIG.
Oh, yeah. Only Masato.
One SIG.
Sure. My pleasure. All right, confer it. I know the problem with the confer right now is that it is not really static, very dynamic to change the right. Yes, it is like a living animal. It's very difficult to say stop it, and that explicitly include my intention to control. But anyway, all right. I can't stop. Yes, for the time being, strongly supports and support has the quite majority of this. And then if someone, yes, and I see the strongly oppose, maybe the some of if you are present here, who vote who tick. Avoid the voting. Who tick the strongly oppose. If you don't mind, please come up to the microphone and say, mention. Explain why you strong oppose, if you can. Then, as we had a discussion in the policy SIG, if we had a strong those who strong oppose, we need to clarify the reason for that. Okay, all right. Again, the confer is the tool to measure the temperature of the discussion in this room and the remote participants. So this is for reference for me. Then I think this with that said, this is representing the quite good support to form the SIG corporation SIG then I think it is safe for me to recognize as this as a consensus to endorse this cooperation SIG. Thank you very much. Back to presentation, please. Thank you very much. Then, to the new SIG, the SIG guideline says that to have the acting chairs, and then when we have the SIG for the first time, we will have the election for the former chair. Then I am really happy to have the willingness and the volunteer for the being the acting chair from already the 3 of them, Dr. Government of NEXI, after Siddiqui, Sarbanet Pakistan, and Dean Pemberton of the Internet and Z. 3 of them, please stand up and show your face to the... Then please acclaim for the endorsement of the acting chair. Thank you very much. I'm really appreciate for your volunteer. Okay, then next, the Secretariat to establish a new mailing list and migrate PPAC subscribers. And then mailing list work on the draft charter. What I showed is the current draft charter, and we still time to work on the draft. Then we will call the chair nominees for the within around January or February for the our next Fukuoka meeting. And then Fukuoka in Japan, 2015, the beginning of March, APNIC 39, we will have the first SIG meeting and elect chair and co-chair and endorse the charter. This is the where to go right now. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any comment or question, I'm really happy to answer. Okay? Good. Thank you very much. Next, back in MC. Next report is from the youth both. Anna, okay. Anna Marie Varian will deliver the report from the youth both. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna. I'm from APNIC. I'm here to give you the report from the youth BOF. Just before I start, I want to give you a bit of background how we came up with that idea. Last year during APNIC's staff conference, there's a group of people who believe the idea of involving the youth in the community is important. And very timely, 2 months after that, I believe there's a discussion in SIAN meeting about the community wanting to involve the youth. So since then, we have plenty of activities and events involving the youth in APNIC. For example, last year, we have a year 12 student who took an on-the-job training within APNIC office, which HR has been really accommodating in helping with. Also, in the last 2 NOGs that APNIC sponsored, we were given the complimentary seats, and part of it has been allocated to students. So what we did was we coordinated with the committee, and they picked the students who are qualified to be attending the NOG conference. Also, last week, we have attended the Y4IT conference in the Philippines. Because we have an event in the Philippines, so we took the time to actually grace the event for an hour, and we managed to communicate with about 8,000 to 7,000 students in the Philippines nationwide. And for this conference, we had a fellowship allocated to local students, local IT students here in Brisbane, and two of them were the speakers at the Youth BOF, Jamie Rogers and Alistair Chapman. Jamie did a presentation of the impact of connectivity, empowering development in emerging economies, especially in the Pacific region. And Alistair did a really good presentation about security, mainly about democratizing insecurity and bringing security weaknesses to the tech masses. I believe he also did the presentation yesterday at the Lightning Talks. And on Monday, during the social event, we met Taiji Tsushiya from Big Love in Japan. He was generous enough to speak at the Youth BOF on the following day, and he talked about the introduction of Wakamonog. This is the youth program in Janog. He said this is a group of about 50 youths in Japan, and they gather together for drinks and actually have a sort of social event after the Nog event. So he said Wakamo in Japanese means youth. Nog is being involved in the Nog. So Wakamonog means youth in the BOF. And hopefully we would be able to get in touch with Taiji next year at the next APNIC conference so that we can coordinate and collaborate with him in terms of this program. So that's all from my report. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous, so if you have any questions, you can probably tell from my voice. But yeah,
Pretty good,
I'm happy
man,
to actually hear opinion from the
Very
community
good.
about this program. I'm just chilling out right now, so if you have any comments or suggestions, I would love to hear it.
All
Or
right.
I mean, the whole APNIC staff, I'm sure would love to hear it.
Any question, comment, encouragement?
Courage.
Thank you very much, Anna. All right, move on to the next report from the IPv6 Readiness Measurement BOF report by the Ms. Aichin Liu from TWNIC.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Aichin Liu from TWNIC. Regarding the IPv6 readiness measurement BOF, let me give you a quick recap on what we did and how we work. This one? Okay, thank you. Yeah, they can work too. Okay. Yes, two.
The keyboard is dying.
Yeah, I think it's the last page. So we can do this way. Oh, okay. I would like to begin by talking about major event and the work item. The first board meeting in August of last year, we discussed the methodology of readiness measurement. After that, we set up main list and built up website. We classified different measurement criteria. And then this year, the February, we have a second board meeting, and we propose 3 common criteria. The first criteria is IPv6 allocation and BGP advertisement. Second criteria is user availability. Third criteria is service availability. Later, we did the post-processing for these 3 criteria, and that post-processing, including the data acquisition and the data analysis and the data visualization. And in order to collect the CCTLD's data, we developed an IPv6-enabled server detection tool to help CCTLD to check the IPv6 availability of web, DNS, and mail. And at APNIC 36 now, we held the third board meeting, and the speakers proposed a different methodology and update the status of IPv6 measurement. In the past year, about 16 organizations participated in our major event. Here, I'm appreciate your contribution. Now let me show you the current figures of these 3 common criteria. From these figures, I think you can see the Japan and the Singapore and the Malaysia is the 13 countries of the Asia Pacific region. I think the top 3 in the IPv6 allocation and the BGP advertisement and the user availability criteria. So next is the service availability. This part you can see until now, just only for CCTLD registry provide the data. I think that it's not very easy to get data from this part, but anyway, we need to find some way to solve the issues of data collection. Okay, now we have, on Tuesday, we have third board meeting. And this meeting, we invite 6 speakers from different organizations and to do the presentation. George Michelson from APNIC, Mang from SGNIC, Tomohiro Fujisaki-san from NTT, Jinheng Gu from TWNIC, Eric from Cisco, Li Fengwu from Zhonghua Telecom Laboratories. I'm here thanking all the speakers share valuable information with us. Now I will let's summarize for the report. From the SGNIC, they presented the status of IPv6 adoption in .SG names, and he observed that hosting providers and the service providers play an important role in the IPv6 promotion. And NTT Fujisaki-san update the IPv6 deployment and in Japan, and from the core network applications, access network users, product, and the government IPv6 service. And the Zhonghua Telecom Laboratories, Li Fengwu, he presented the Zhonghua Telecom's IPv6 current status and their challenge and the milestone of IPv6. And for the user availability, this part, APNIC and Cisco, I think he enhanced some user availability, some function for this part. APNIC, George Michelson, they think that APNIC have long-term experiment measuring end-user capability and also decided to adopt Google Chat API with a simple timeline interface. And from the right-hand side, you can see the Cisco, they give some different function to predict the trend of IPv6 user availability. Yeah, next is service availability by Cisco and TWNIC. I think this part in Cisco web service availability by Cisco Lab. And he measures the top 100 site access from a country. And the website from ALISA list, rechargeable over IPv6. And TWNIC data collection from ALISA's 1 million website. And I think you can take a look at this graph. If you want more information, I think you can visit the website. Now I want to get a summarize and compare to the different methodology for this one. And you can see the first row is we call the methodology 1, which is we proposed on the second board meeting. And the sampling size, the whole sampling is from the CCTLD's domain. And the other 2, TWNIC and Cisco, the sampling size is from the ALISA list. But I think the sampling size is different. So maybe the large sampling size is more representative. But for the processing, small size may be simple. And for the measurement target, this part, I think the methodology 1 and the TWNIC have the same target website, which is belong to a country-based organization. And the Cisco, this part, I think the website is accessed from a country. And the scope, I think the Cisco, the scope, just do the web availability, this part, and methodology 1 and the TAPNIC, we covered the web, DNS, and the mail. I think from different point of view, I think you got the different methodology formula. Of course, you got different outcome. So in here, I think a very special point for TAPNIC this part, we do the aggregated domain name. What means the aggregated? Is we want to preventing repeating calculation, so we do the domain name with the same third level suffix should not be counted twice. I think that is a very special point for this methodology. Okay, now I think I will give the conclusion. For service availability, we need to continuously collect the data of different methodology and watch closely. That is why we still encourage CCTLD registries to continuously provide the IPv6 service availability data. Even though we already have 3 common criteria, but we still welcome different methodology and the criteria of readiness measurement are proposed. Furthermore, we hope to cooperate with small organizations to find out more appropriate measurement criteria. Thank you. If you are interested in this topic, please join us and visit our website. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, this is all about both, and we will move on to the other part of reporting. First is from Chief Chen, Chinese University of Hong Kong, to deliver the APNIC report. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. I presented on behalf of APNIC Association. APNIC stands for Asia Pacific Internet Exchange. We are an association of internet exchange providers in Asia Pacific region. Our objectives are to share information about technical, operational, and business issues and solutions regarding internet exchanges. And we have 16 members all around the region. And we hope to have more members to join us because we know there are much more IXP than we have right now. The current steering committee members are Toyama-san from Japan, myself from Hong Kong, and Ralph also from Hong Kong, but he represents APNIC around the region, and also Garab from Nepal, Brian Kim from Korea. And this week we had our 10th meeting, which actually we had it on Sunday a long time ago, and actually a lot of participants, a lot of attendees had left already. But I still see a few of them. Yeah, I still see a few of them. But anyway, this time we had 32 attendees from 11 IXPs, including 2 from remote locations. Thanks to APNIC, we had WebEx, so we have quite a number of attendees online to participate in our session. And we also invited other IXPs, including Megaport from Australia. We hope they can join us soon. And also INEX from Ireland. And we also invited other vendors to join us so that we can have more financial support. Our activities including information sharing among ourselves and also inputs from vendors regarding technologies and things like that. And we also welcome other topics like internet governance, especially the topics related to interconnections. Regarding administration stuff, we are still seeing whether we need to have a legal entity. But right now, of course, there's no clear decision. and we hope we can have decision by next meeting in Fukuoka. And our website is not very updated, so don't go there. The good thing is a lot of our friends actually offered help to us, and we will have this fixed really soon after we've gone back after this meeting. And this meeting we had the updates from some of the ISPs, including Dixie. They are doing a programmable IX. I would say is a test bed, and it's very interesting using the SDN technology. And I also talk about our new new platform, interconnecting different switches with 100 gig lengths, and we also can support 100 gig connections. And there was also talk from IIX from Indonesia. They have just upgraded to use Brocade NLXE, and it was a very good work done. And they also have quite more and more 10 gig connections, which is very good for Indonesia, I think. Information from vendors are very important. We try to be vendor neutral, so we will invite different vendors to come to our meetings to talk about technologies that they can provide to the IXPs. I would say, the requirements of IXPs are quite different from normal content providers or ISPs, and we hope they can, develop technologies that can suit us more. And this time we had Arista, Brocade, Cisco talking about different technologies. Many thanks to them. And besides coming to our meeting, I hope in the future we can have their financial support. We also had Megaport from Australia talking about their new Megaport exchange here in Australia, and they also say they will have their exchange in Singapore and in Hong Kong. And that would be very interesting because we'll see some competition, and also we'll see more choices for the ISPs in the region. And I think they have a very interesting model, not really the same as the others. And missing from here, in fact, there was also a presentation from BPIX. Sorry for that. I think I'll fix it after this. There was also a presentation from BPIX, one of our members. The BPIX gentleman talked about their cross-country IX, which is another different, a totally different model from the usual IX, because you can do bilateral peering across different countries. And they also have presence in Hong Kong. That would be very interesting to me. And the last topic that was covered is about IXP Manager, which is a tool set for internet exchange points. And we had the remote presentation from Ireland. And the guy talked about a tool which the IXPs can make use of to do provisioning, to do monitoring, which is, I think, will be very useful to our members. And as I mentioned, there are still outstanding issues like legal entity, and there's one possibility that we'll work with APIA so that they will help us to take care of the money if we start to collect a membership fee, and also to collect sponsorship money, and then there will be spending, of course. Right now, we all depend on volunteering work and also support from APNIC. Many thanks for that. And website, of course, and collaboration with IX Foundation, which is a global collaboration among the IXP associations around the world from 5 regions. And we hope we can have more collaborations with our counterparts around the world. And once again, I would like to thank APNIC for the support, especially for the venue, the secretariat support, and also WebEx and things like that. Without that, we could not have our meeting. And we'll have our next meeting in Fukuoka, of course, and we hope to have participation from more IXPs. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay, move on. That was for APIX, and we are currently increase the collaboration with other AP something. Then they are not really coordinated. But if we have someone from AP CERT, raise your hand. Okay. Don't you mind if you come up to the stage and just do the greeting? That's really good for us. Thank you very much for accepting that really sudden. All right, just greeting. And we had a security track on Wednesday, I think, and that's some new approach for us to collaborate.
Right. Well, I can't really speak for AP CERT particularly because this is Yuri's issue. My name is Jeffrey Tonnen from MO CERT. I sit on the SC committee, the steering committee, so I do get into a bit of interaction. AP CERT is really interested in collaborating, especially with the sort of interface between APNIC community and AP CERT, the CERT community. So collaborating with the security track was really important for us. So we were really excited to be part of it. I hope it continues on, and it'll be fantastic if we can interact and find that interface where you need more information about security and we need more interaction with APNIC. It'll be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone from APTLD? I'm doing the really same thing. Annoying. No, as you know, APTLD is the Association for the Asia Pacific CCTLD managers, and we have quite for a while to have the meeting in conjunction with them. I think they had activity on Sunday, Monday, and possibly Tuesday. Then for the CCTLD managers in Asia Pacific region get together to have some discussion. So we will have something in future for the APNIC and the APTLD to collaborate with. We actually have entered into a memorandum of understanding for the cooperation. Then that will be producing something in near future, I believe. All right, then next speaker, I'd like to invite Cheryl Landonneau from the agenda sheet says from ICANN, but more accurately, she's now the chair of the nomination committee of the ICANN, who is responsible for nominating the leadership position in the ICANN organization, internal organization, I think. Cheryl, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, Cheryl Langdonell from the ICANN Nominating Committee. And I just wanted to thank you very much for making a small amount of time for us to do a little bit of outreach and a little bit of reporting from what we've done in 2014. Carrying on from what we perhaps mentioned to you when we met in KL, but also to do a bit of promo on 2015, because it is vitally important that talent, capable people in our region apply for leadership positions that, of course, ICANN has to offer each year. In 2014, we had 6 positions of leadership that the nominating committee filled. 2 were for the ICANN board, and I'm delighted to tell you we filled one of those seats from Asia, which was excellent. Thank you for giving us the good material to work with. In fact, you gave us so much good material to work with, we would like to have filled more. But there is a bylaw limitation to a maximum number of people on the ICANN board per region. So right now, until 2016, when there is a possible turnover of people who are sitting on the ICANN board, there is in fact 5 people from Asia Pacific, so we're actually full on the ICANN board, but we had more talent and we would like to keep attracting more talent for leadership positions, including the ICANN board. We do, however, also appoint to what's called the At-Large Advisory Committee, which is a committee that advises the ICANN board and has its influence on all other parts of both policy development and ICANN activities across the other ACs and SOs. We appointed from Asia into the CCNSO this year. So again, yay us. We're getting some influence, but we need more. There might be a repetition you're hearing here. It's intentional. So we did do some good out of our region, but we need to do better. Next year, we have 9 positions, 3 for the ICANN board, but I've given you the bad news about that, but 3 for the At-Large Advisory Committee, and now I need to push whichever button makes the next thing. Oh, no, we're right, it's okay, it happened. The magic happened without me, thank you, to whatever elf made that happen. You'll notice one of them is in the Advisory Committee, the Asia, Australia, Pacific Islands. That's an ideal place for someone out of this community to get engaged, get involved, and might I suggest, if you do what Renalia Abdurrahim has done, get the reputation where the community sends you to the ICANN board, because that's what's happened. 2 cycles back, 4 years ago, Renalia was appointed by the NomCom. This year in 2014, the at-large community has appointed her to the board. So there's a number of pathways, let's exploit them all. But we also have, of course, 2 people going to the Generic Names Support Organisation. No reason that at least one of those should not be from our region. There is no limitation. There is no requirement to be or not be for for both of those appointments. And finally, 1 member to go to the Country Code Name Support Organisation. And there is a limitation there, but it is not geographic. The limitation is, and I need to make sure it's clear because some of us are involved in naming as well as numbering, you cannot have an alternate pathway into the CCNSO Council via the NomCom. So if, like me, you serve on the board of, well, I'm on .au, so we're the domain name administrator for the AU space, I can't apply to come in via NomCom because technically I could be appointed via a normal CCNSO member process. So with that exclusion, put your names in, and I think if we make the magic happen once more. Thank you, Paul. In an ideal world, the calls will go out in December. Between December and April, we'll have our candidate application process, which means, of course, I'm hoping to encourage more people during the Tokyo meeting to get and put their names in as well. There is, however, if you've ever done this before and you didn't do it this year in 2014, a radically different process for applying for a position in ICANN via NomCom. It is radically different, so I would strongly encourage you, if you're thinking about it, to think about it in December, January, February, and not leave it till 12 hours before closing on the 1st of April, because it might take you slightly by surprise. And now I think if I push the last one, there's some additional information links. This is 3 slides out of an 11-slide set. Now I've just let them only show these little tiny bits because I only wanted to take a couple of minutes. I'll pass on the 11-slide set for the record, so I wasn't going to swamp you with the wrong information. And the most easy thing you can do, and you can do it right now, is just go to ICANN, so let me try again, nomcom.icann.org/suggest, and you can suggest yourself or anyone else you think would be ideal for leadership. And thank you very much. Any questions would be welcome.
Question, comments?
Just send me your names.
Okay, thank you very much, Cheryl. Okay, we're very close to the end part. All right, I'd like to proceed to the meeting planning part. I will invite Kitamura-san from APAN board and a part of the local host organizing committee for the Apricot APAN 2015, which is our next meeting, will be held in Fukuoka, Japan. Thank you very much, Kitamura-san.
Good afternoon. My name is Yasuichi Kitamura, and I'm standing here as one of the board member of the APAN. So the next year, we will hold the Apricot APAN again. The first one was held in, as you remember, 2011 in Hong Kong, and this is a second trial. So some parts are in Japanese. I'm sorry, but this is the sort of the bird view of the Fukuoka city. So as you can see, if you have the experience of visiting Tokyo, so as you know, the Narita airport is very far from the Tokyo downtown, but Fukuoka city is very close to the downtown, about 15 minutes by subway. So even if you drink something, and if you have to go back to your country, you don't have to worry about any traffic. So as you can see, that this is the Red Congress Center. I'm sorry, that this is Congress Center is the convention center. That a little bit mistake. So this is Congress Center is the conference place, and also as you can see, the JR Hakata Station is the place for the workshop. So, and you can see the green mark here. This is the small place. So the small is always held in December. So I'm sorry you can't watch the small this time, but this is the place. And also this is the harbor. The Congress Center is just in front of the harbor, and so it's very easy to go to Korea by ship. So as you can see, this is the rough map of the place, and also maybe if you ever visited the APNIC member meeting in Kitakyushu, this was a little bit far from here, about one station east from Fukuoka by Shinkansen, that is the express train. So not so close, but so a little bit. So this place is a little bit different from the last APNIC member meeting. So this is the rough schedule. So from between the from the 23rd, the Apricot workshop will be held at the JR Hakata City, and from March 1st to March 6th, both APAN and Apricot will hold a meeting at the Fukuoka International Convention Center. So, and also from the March 1st, the network service will start at the Fukuoka International Convention Center, and also between 23rd and 28th, the same service will be provided at the JR Hakata City. So this is the rough view of the Fukuoka International Convention Center, and APAN will use the 4th floor, so that is for something, and also the Apricot will use the 5th floor. So the Apricot and APNIC will use the 5th floor, but if the program is perfectly separated, it's not we don't have to hold such the joint meeting. So actually maybe we will think of some of the joint sessions between this Apricot APAN. So also at the plenary session will be held at the third floor, so the capacity is 1,000. So if you like, you can see, you can propose some of the big event if you like. So anyways, a very huge hall here, and this is the network service preparation. Actually, the tentative. So the 10 gigabit BPS will be provided to the conference place, and also IPv4 address will be provided by JPNIC, and also the source AS will be one of the APNJP and SINET, that is the academic network, and also Apricot APNIC will use this ASN or AS number 2, and also IP version 6. Of course, IP version 6 will be provided, and also we are planning to think of establishing a 3 Wi-Fi. That is, one is for APN, and one is for Apricot, another one is EduROM. So the reason we are thinking of this is that for the academic people want to connect to their universities or institution directory. So the routing is a little bit different from the regular commercial ISPs. So for such reason that we are planning to prepare such Wi-Fi. And also wired connection will be ready. So the 1 gig BPS, so especially for demonstration, I think, but if your Wi-Fi is not stable, you can use this wire. And so this is the rough diagram of the network. So actually already the network staff is working inside of the Fukuoka city right now, and they are checking some of the fiber under the road, and they are checking some of the fibers inside of the buildings. And this is the registration fee, the early bird at the 360 USD, and also the standard is 450, but maybe you were the APNIC member, so you can apply the 360. And also the hotel will be prepared such like this. So the Hotel Okura will be the official hotel, but we are planning a lot of such hotels too. And also the Hotel Hakata place is just in front of the Fukuoka International Convention Center, and this hotel has such facility for some rooms for the laundry and the kitchen and so on. So the very convenient place too. So, and also around the Fukuoka Hakata station, there are a lot of budget hotels. So if you have your Japanese friends, please ask them that they can prepare, that maybe they can recommend you some of the budget hotels. And also, fortunately, around the Hakata station, most of the hotel staff can speak English. So you don't have to worry about this. And also, this is the introduction of the Hakata, Fukuoka area. So maybe most of you will be arrived at the Hakata, Fukuoka at the Fukuoka airport. And so there are some, this is the domestic and international. So if you want to go to the Fukuoka airport by domestic, maybe you will use the Haneda airport or the Narita airport to go there. And also there are a lot of direct flights from a lot of countries. So you can go there directly. And also the JR Hakata station is the end point of the express train from Tokyo to Hakata. So if you like, you can do this. So the price is almost the same as the airplane, but it will take about 5 hours. But you don't have to prepare such of the check-in time and also the waiting the baggage. So if you want to run into the train, so you can try this. And also this is a rough map of the Hakata, conference area. So the black line is the subway, and so as you can see, the main conference centers are a little bit far from each station. So, so if you like to walk, it takes about 20 minutes or something. So, but anyway, so in case of the Fukuoka city, the subway cost is a little bit expensive. So that we recommend you to purchase some of the e-money, so that such like a Suica or something like this. And so, and also the Hakata city is very famous for preparing the bus transportation. So if you take the bus, you don't have to worry about even if there's snow or something, rain, you don't have to worry about this. So actually there are two lines prepared. One is the 88 and also another one 80. So that this will be put at the website, so that please check this line number, so then you can go there. And also at the time, if you already purchased such the e-money, such the Suica or some of the things, then you can get some discount. And also, most of the hotels are ready for the Wi-Fi services. And also, one thing is that Fukuoka is a very cold place. And sometimes you will see snow. So but stacking snow is a very rare case, but anyway, very cold. So please prepare something warm. Or if after you arrive at the Fukuoka city, please run to the Uniqlo and purchase some of the very reasonable price things. And also, these days, Japan is ready for prepaid SIM cards. So we will thinking of provide such information at the website, so that if you are thinking of purchasing some prepaid SIM card, so please you can purchase it. And so that these are staffs actually, and another thing is that, as you know, the first APNIC staff was Dr. Hirabaru, so that he established the APNIC and he worked very hard here. So, and this year that he got the Internet Hall of Fame. So we are thinking of such the workshop and also reception or something like this. At this moment, there's no idea, but anyway, so that for the APNIC this time that he got this award because he prepared the APNIC and both APNIC and APNIC. So you are very interested in supporting this event, I think. So the last time Maimura-san said that said this in local language, but another thing is Minakinshai, that this is welcome everybody. So please attend this Fukuoka city, and we are waiting for you. Thank you very much.
Pretty much exhaustive information. Thank you very much. Then, okay, yeah, you should remember, Kinshai is a place come. Kinshai, Fukuoka Kinshai, again, from me. All right. I have another point about APNIC 40 and APNIC 42. Actually, we changed our way of choosing the meeting site. Before decision of the meeting place is EC's decision. So for example, in the August meeting, we have the discussion to check the proposal and determine the place. But right now, it is we've already equipped the sub-region rotation, and the meeting preparation is done by Secretariat in the cooperation with the partnership in a local eventer. So it is much easier for us, not really easy, but it is more streamlined and organized way to have this. Then I am really happy to announce that we will have the APNIC 40 around 1 year later from this meeting in Jakarta, Indonesia. Then I think the host people will be, no, we have that just video, have some announcement. Yes, please come up to the stage and welcome us to the Jakarta.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I speak here on behalf of Indonesia ISP Association, APJ, and APJ has become part of this community for a long time, and we felt a lot of benefits. And we are also NIR, and also we operate the Indonesia Internet Exchange in Indonesia. Having experience in conducting APRICOT 2007 in Bali and also IGF 2013 last year, we will work hard to make sure that all of you will have a good conference at APNIC 40. It's our pride to become a co-host for APNIC 40, and it's our pleasure to welcome all of you at Jakarta and enjoy the beauty of the rest of Indonesia. We also prepare a short video to show you about Jakarta.
Thank you very much, Valens. Okay, APNIC 40, no, 40 is this. Then APNIC 41, in conjunction with Apricot 2016, is going to Auckland. Yes. Then additionally, APNIC 42, it is really organized. Then we are already in the progression to coordinate the APNIC 42, and I'm happy to I can announce that the APNIC 42 will be held in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Then further coordination is will be made from now on. until that year. And this is our first chance to go to that country. That's really historic. That'd be great. Okay, and what we have is the closing remark and the vote of thanks. Before we go there, I'd like to have short open mic session. If you have any question, comment, impression, something to share, please go up to the microphone.
Aftab Siddiqui Sabinet. Dear APNIC AC, I just have one small comment. I think there is a very strong reason to review the program because we are stretching it for no good reason. So it's just a suggestion. I don't know if other members support it or not. Thank you.
I think the transcript may not show exactly what was said there, but I think Aftab, you said we are stretching it for no good reason. Yes. Could you explain more about that? Thanks.
Okay, let me just repeat myself. I'm saying that we are stretching the program for no good reason, adding some of the content for, I'm not sure for what purpose. I can notify like couple of the slides presentation during the other sessions and policy seg, and to some extent today as well. There was no reason for that. Being a member, I think we can make it more productive if we squeeze it to 4 days. If it is not very necessary to have it up till 5 days, that's my concern. Thank you.
Thanks, Aftab. I'm sure we'll consider that, and it's not the first time this week it's been suggested. But the other side of that too, I'll just mention, is of course to fill the program with good content. It needs quite a lot of work, and I think the program committee can always use extra help, extra attention paid, well in advance of the meeting, so that ideas can be shared and speakers can be lined up. Because with a lack of human resources on the program committee, it tends to be quite late, and sometimes you have issues like the ones you've mentioned. So I'm sure we can do both. I'm sure we can have a packed program which is really efficient and which satisfies people's needs, but we can also fill it with really good content if we're all prepared to do the work. Thanks.
I just wanted to add one comment there. We mentioned it earlier this morning, but it may be lost in this terms of the discussion. The EC is reviewing the length and content and structure of the conference at the moment. So that's a conversation we've started at this event. So watch this space.
This is Masato, and my comment is also related with James' comment. In last couple of years, it's not so often to see EC members in the session. I know that the EC members are very busy to have another meeting, but it's not. I don't think it is your intention, and actually, it's not good for both for EC members and our community also. So it is very appreciated if you consider the meeting schedule. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Actually, I take on Masato's point. It's really, we'd like to have some, collaboration with other entities, and that means that, program will be more and more integrated and complicated, and it is one way. And another way is that just simplify the meeting, and the various things can be considered. And I think we are now come to the season to revisit a lot of things for the meeting conduct, and I really appreciate your comment, and we will work on that. Thank you, Skip.
Skip Stevens, Intelligo. I want to expand on sort of a little bit what Aftab said about sort of the content. One of the things that, given where we all come from, the distances that we come, I'm surprised that there's not a far lot more remote participation and things like that. And sort of, I think all the information that is delivered at this conference is very important, but I do not understand, and I guess sort of same along the lines of Aftab, I don't understand why a lot of it has to be delivered live. Especially other RARs, other reports, a lot of which have minimal or no feedback. A lot of that could be delivered by either delivered by video, but I'm actually not even suggesting video by here. I'm actually suggesting pre-uploaded information that you could probably easily eliminate a day or two out of this conference by simply going, this is all available from this day, watch what you want to watch. And if you've got feedback, and maybe on a day like today where we've got people present, that's when it could be very much an open mic. Okay, over the 32 presentations, who's got questions about these things, and so forth. To something that's slightly similar, I was very disappointed by the NRO elections. Not a single candidate turned up. The best was, I think it's Anjay, who actually did a video. And I'm sorry, given the organisation we're talking about and the technology that is available in every one of our pockets, smartphone, every single one of them, should they not be able to come here, should have been able to do a video thing. There are people that got one vote because most of us wouldn't have had a clue who they were. Now, I think that was just very lazy on most of the other candidates not to make something available that they couldn't come, whether they had problems with visas or other things. That's a 2-minute job, to be honest. Now, to that extent, I also have been in the past made comments, and this one sort of highlighted it quite a bit, where, and not focusing on any specific people, but the Australian. I have no idea who he is. I've never seen him at a conference. I think there needs to be some review on who actually nominates for these committees. I think self-nomination is, I do not think that's acceptable. I think the community and people should be a part of this community, not random nominations from people that no one have heard from. And surely anyone that's going to be voted for in the numbers of like hundreds and so forth can easily get a couple of nominations from other members or this community to be able to actually nominate so as not to waste everybody's time with a bunch of people who don't attend meetings or attended one X many years ago or things like that, to people that are actually a part of it. I do not know even why we're even entertaining people's nominations for people that none of us know. And I'd like the EC to consider reviewing some sort of rules for nominations or some, at least you must have attended 2 meetings in the last 5 years or something like that, plus a couple of nominations that, so we at least know who they are.
Mayan.
Yes, this is Mayan, EC member. In fact, really we have this kind of discussion internally regarding the qualification of the contributors. Because if there is no knowledge about the procedures and the responsibilities, have no engagement with communities, then I suppose that we couldn't really expect the person make the function really benefit to our community. So we didn't take a very concrete actions, but really we have a discussion already. So thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? I think Naresh is coming. Thank you.
Well, excessive content is definitely a concern, but content is king. We belong to that industry and we belong to that era. So in my opinion, we really need to think that whether we are ridiculing content or we are ridiculing the approach we have taken in terms of extending any debate or deliberation. My point is on a concern over people not known and being referred for the position. In my opinion, we have hardly a minuscule percentage of people who are connected to APNIC so far. So there would be always a situation when we would have people referred first time. But that doesn't mean we block them to come and take some position. I think such thought itself is worrisome. We have yet to connect many more people. And if they want to get into our community by only getting empowered as a position of, say, for NRO, NC, or EC, and we say they are the first timers, so they should not be allowed, is a thought we should really review it. APNIC belongs to newcomers, APNIC belongs to the old guys, APNIC belongs to the guys since they are there. If we have any entry criteria, we must have an exit criteria also, like ICANN. So if we need to open this discussion of entry criteria, I am forced to open the discussion on exit criteria. So maintain balance. Either we don't talk about exit criteria, like we have it terms for almost 7, 8, and we are still continuing, or we don't touch a sensitive or try to create entry barrier. Thank you.
Thank you. Skip again.
Steve Stevens, Intelligo. With respect to my colleague Naresh, I understand what he's saying, but I just wanted to clarify. Being present here at a meeting isn't the only way to be involved. Policy, mailing lists, local NOGs, being able to even present remotely. There are so many ways to actually be. I realise that it's an expensive process to be able to travel across the world, especially there can be legal and government's barriers for entry and things like that. But I remember many years ago when James encouraged me to get involved, and I like to get involved quite quickly, and he was like, do your time, do your time, understand policy, get involved in it, comment on it, before you go and get on chairs of policy SIGs and things like that. Understand the process, understand what the actual different councils and organisations and the people like the EC, and understand what they do. And I'm sorry, I have to disagree. I don't think you can walk in the door, be your first meeting and nominate for EC or NRO or anything else like that. I think while the community is owned by everybody and we all have the right to be a part of it, I believe that anyone turning up, and it's not just APNIC, it's ISOC, it's ICANN, it's AUDA, it's every different organisation. People should understand the process, because this is not something you can learn overnight. There is not a single person here that could explain everything you needed to know about any of these committees or organisations in a day or two. This is something you have to do over a little bit of time, a year or two, or less, or being involved with. I mean, you can even go to like one of the conferences like JPNOG or SANOG or a couple of the others and still get to know a significant member of these people in these rooms. That still would get you known by the main players and get a reputation for being involved and being a quality person that the community wants to defer to and learn from.
Thank you.
When we are ignorant about marginalized people, when we don't know much about them, when we don't consider much about them, we really get into such kind of debates. Marginalized people need to be empowered. They need to be given some kind of a position. And if they are ignorant about the process, it doesn't mean they can't be empowered and learn. I think we need to be all inclusive. We just can't think of the section who has awareness only. We have to think of people who are unaware, who need to know, and they want to know only through empowered way. What's wrong in it? What's wrong in it? We need to empower everybody. APNIC is a community meant to empower those marginalized people also. We are not just have a thought that we are engineers and that's sufficient. Nobody other than who is an engineer is not a person existing in this world. I think we should not start this discussion, because then I will be talking about many other things. So my request would be no entry barrier for anyone to get empowered in APNIC. My request, my submission. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Masato. I pretty much agree with what Skip mentioned. Then I think even though Nalesh saying it's some kind of restriction, I don't think so, because the responsibility of NL and NC is synchronize the discussion between RIRs. So they need to understand what's going on APNIC. So even if we will have a condition about participation, I don't think it's actual restriction. It's just it is mandatory to perform NRO-NC's responsibility.
Keep it.
I never
please,
went to
Naresh.
engineering college. I never believed in any of the engineer in my organization. I always felt that they are the ones who complicate a one term by 17 terminologies. If somebody calls bandwidth, they will make it a point to call it backhaul. When I call backhaul, they make it a point to call it last mile. When I say last mile, they give it a different phrase. So that's how I view them. And yet, I was in this position for 6 years. Yet, I have made an impact wherever it was required in case of my coordination with other RIRs. I don't think I have not played the role, irrespective of the fact I was not even knowing a bit about APNIC when I got elected first time in Christchurch. So, in my opinion, we must let people come who feel that they can make a difference. It's good somebody from Bombay or somebody from Melbourne or somebody from unknown scenario has nominated himself. That shows our openness. If we want to restrict and close this room only for the people who know, so-called in inverted commas, who know, then I think we are limiting our thinking process.
Masato, if you take a mic, you have just 10 words, please.
I decline.
All right. Thank you very much for your understanding. Okay. I just got surprising news. So I need to have one more report. That's bad news for you. No bad news for you, but it is really good contents by Byron Villacott for reporting the conference network report. Sorry, that's my bad for bad timekeeping.
Thank you. I'll try not to take too long. Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of information about what's happened on our network through the week here. First, we'll just look at a kind of overview of everything that's happened. You can see, obviously, on Sunday there weren't too many people here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the second to fourth blobs in there. You can see lunchtime appears as a little dip, which is always nice. So Thursday is where it gets interesting. What happened Thursday? iOS 8 came out and you all started downloading it. If you haven't finished downloading it, please hurry up because we will be taking the network down. So let's take a little look at what some of that traffic actually was. So this is a bit of a visually complex graph. I'll go through it in a bit of detail, but not too much detail because we are a little bit late. That inner track in the middle there shows the balance of traffic between IPv4 and IPv6. So if we look at the IPv4, 84% of our traffic was IPv4. Now, if you looked at this on Wednesday, 25% of our traffic was IPv6. And the difference is you all started downloading iOS 8. So if we now look at the middle track, we can see that for IPv4, we've got quite a lot of port 80 traffic, 152 gig worth of it. And of that, pretty much all of it is download, which is what you'd expect. If you just look a little bit around on the other side at the bottom there, you'll see port 443, and a large amount of that is sent. That's Amazon Web Services, and I'm not sure who you are, but I hope you got your work done. I will point out one thing that's interesting, which is port 1935 over there. This port, for those who don't know their ETC services file off by heart, is the RTMP service, which will be the people in the room watching the remote participation. You did 10 gig of that, so that's pretty good. If we now look at the IPv6, 15, 16%, as I said on Wednesday, it was higher. Most of that is port 443, so I think there's a good story here that says IPv6 is more secure. It's been promised for years, and here we have the evidence. So if we actually take a look at the difference between port 443 and 80, we can see, so we've kind of flipped the chart around here, and now port is the inner track. And you've got that wonderful little fan at the top of all the miscellaneous ports. Someone out there is using port 110. Please don't. We want secure. So port 80, that's the bulk of our traffic. Port 443, that's the remainder, 1935. The next couple, 993, so the people doing secure mail. 4500, so VPNs, and port 22, and then it's just noise through the rest. You can see down in the bottom corner there that we've got, of 443 traffic, 34.6% of it was over IPv6, whereas port 80 traffic, only 4% was over IPv6. And I'm kind of guessing at an analysis on this, but I think this means that for these web server operators who have enabled HTTPS, they seem to be more likely to have also enabled IPv6, or maybe it's just the kind of traffic we do here. So that's all I've got for you, but I would like to just, oh, sorry, no, I do have the symmetry one. We received a whole lot more than we sent, but that's not very surprising, is it? So I just would like to ask you all to join us in thanking our networking sponsor, Vocus. And the connection they gave for us has been really nice, so thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Baron. And this is the very last part of the APNIC member meeting, and I'd like to ask Paul to do the vote of thanks part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Akinori. Thanks, everyone. The meeting here this week, as usual, is supported very heavily by sponsors from our community, and we appreciate that very much. The meeting, APNIC 38, I think has been more successful than normal. We've got some hard workers at APNIC, Blondine and Molly, Tony and others in the comms team who've been working hard on bringing sponsors in, and that's good for all of us. We've really had some fantastic events this week, thanks to the sponsors, and also some direct contributions to the costs. So I'd like to thank each of those sponsors, and I'll do that now. Microsoft came as the platinum sponsor for the meeting. I think we don't have Microsoft here anymore, but their support is fantastic. And I'm one person who's been looking at the webcast, and I could see the names of the sort of top tier sponsors all the time in the webcast. So I hope they got some good visibility out of that. OPT, I think everyone knows that OPT was the agreed host of this meeting when it was due to be held in New Caledonia. And that didn't work out, but I think I was so glad to see the contingent from New Caledonia coming to this meeting and participating and supporting with the sponsorship, and I think the dinner we had the other night with at the art gallery was really wonderful. It was a fantastic event, a great venue, and it's thanks to you, OPT. You showed your spirit by dancing as well, which was great to see. So, Philippe, sorry. Really, thank you so much. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Thanks. Thanks. Thankfully.
The network connectivity and bandwidth was supported by Vocus, as Byron just mentioned, and I don't know about you, but I think I had about the fastest and smoothest and most trouble-free connectivity at this event.
than almost any I can remember in the past. So Vocus has done a fantastic job. Thanks to James, thanks to the Vocus folks who are here and who helped to keep the thing running and who worked with the APNIC folks to achieve that. If anyone had any problems with the connectivity, then by all means let us know, but I know I didn't, so I'm grateful for that, as usual. James, I guess. Thanks. Thanks. Google came through as a community and fellowship sponsor. Unfortunately, could not be here, but we're always Google's a long-term sponsor, and we're always grateful to them for their support of the meeting. We had also 21 Vianet, who I think are also not here. Is that right? Sorry. That's also known as A Bit Cool. I'm a little confused here because they go by another name, which is A Bit Cool. Tony Hayne was here. He had to leave early, so we'll get him his certificate, etc. Now, APIA gave a contribution for the fellowship sponsorship, which was very much appreciated. Is Maz in the room? Maz, as a board member of APIA, I'd like to present you with a certificate of appreciation. Thank you.
Here we are.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. PH Colo has also been a regular at APNIC events, and we all know Judith. She came through and sponsored the Women in ICT but couldn't make it here this time. We definitely hope we'll be back, but let's give a round of applause for PH Colo. Now we have six silver sponsors, so V4 Escrow, if we have Elvis still in the room. Elvis, he lives. Elvis is in the house. We have also Nixie, Dr. Govind. And we have Valens from APG, please. Before I scroll. Thanks. See you next time.
Okay, thank you.
We had Headlock as a bronze sponsor as well. Now let me see. No, Stephen's not here. He left earlier in the week. We have sponsors for today. We had several who came through and supported the AMM here today. So JPNIC, Izumi, CNISP, Dongyan, ICANN, Save or Champika. Dongyan is here. Is Izumi here? No. We must have someone from APNIC here, mustn't we, Akinori? Okay. Jessica from CNNIC and Aichin, TWNIC. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, we need to look at Thank you so much. Jessica. Here we are. You can take that. We can shake hands and we can look at the camera. Thank you so much. Technology Core, in-kind sponsor, not here, but thanks to them as well. We had a pretty special opening ceremony. I'm sure if you were here, you'd remember it. We had the Australian Communications Minister, Malcolm Turnbull. We had Hulan Zhao from the ITU giving us keynote speeches. Jean-Francois and Philippe from Caledonia, from the government, and from OPT, from the Pacific, along with Ivan Fong from Peter. And again, because we had planned the event to be not too far away from here, but out across the water, it was really nice to have you here from New Caledonia and others from the Pacific, and your trouble to be here is really appreciated. The keynotes on the first day, Eric and Paul Vixie and Jeff as usual, but thanks so much for contributing to the technical program, which is, I think it was very nice to get back into that after the keynote speeches. So thanks very much for bringing us back down to earth in that afternoon. Masato, a great friend, I think, of APNIC these days. You've gone beyond the call of duty in not only the policy SIG, but in the IANA session as well. So thanks very much for your very cool conduct of those sessions. And also, of course, Toshio, Jessica, and also AJ. Thank you. You have heard about the next conference. All the details will be on the website, so we will look forward to seeing you at not only APNIC 39, but APAN 39 and APRICOT 2000 in Fukuoka. And thanks to the hosts, you've got a lot of work to do with those three events, all happening in just 6 months' time. Have we missed something? I must have double clicked. There are more thanks. Akinori for stepping up as the election chair. The program committee, as I mentioned.
No, Mayan.
It was changed. It was Mayan. Thank you, Mayan. The program committee, fantastic job. As I said, they need help. It's a big job to wrangle the speakers, the content, to get the presentations in and all of that stuff, and to get it all done on time. But the co-chairs are Dean and Mark and Raphael, and also the committee members. We've had a group of fellows here at APNIC 38. It's always fantastic to see some new faces and a couple of young faces, courtesy of the youth fellowship program. Thanks to you for coming and being with us. I certainly hope that you'll be back, and that this experience was one that you'd like to repeat with us again. APNIC EC, thank you both for your support of the meeting and personally for your support of myself as the DG. The staff, I hope that the members here really got to see the APNIC staff in action. Being in Brisbane, you had an opportunity to see more than usual, and I know quite a few have been in and out. They've also been welcoming you to the office, and that's all in amongst doing a normal day's work as well. So I'd like to say thanks very sincerely to all of the APNIC staff who are here, who helped it happen, and I'd like those who are in the room to stand up, please. The magicians on the steno, Nikki and Helen as usual, thank you. Thank you very much. And again, most importantly, those of you who are here, who support APNIC continually through the year, and then you come and you participate and you make this meeting a success. I hope you'll be back. I hope that after the increasing experience, the feedback, the comments and the suggestions from you here, we'll continue making the meeting a more and more valuable event, ever improving. And you'll see some of that improvement next year. As I said, 6 months' time. It's a big event, so please do join us in Fukuoka. We have, you've heard about Jakarta. We'll be looking forward to working with APGI very hard over the next 12 months for that event. We're doing a lot of social media. We've got our eyes and ears and our doors and our keyboards and mailboxes open to your feedback. So I hope you can come and listen and hear more about APNIC through all of these channels, and also send us your views. That's it for this meeting. Thanks again. See you in Fukuoka. Thanks.
All right.
And back to the chairman to formally close proceedings.
Thank you very much. I will give Sunny for the floor for the housekeeping notice.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. We have one last chance to visit APNIC Secretariat. If you're still here and would like to go and visit APNIC Secretariat, please meet Molly in the lobby at 3:30 p.m. this afternoon. And my note says...
Japan time. Japan time.
It's Japan time, sorry. Thanks, Paul, helping me out. So I really have to look at Molly here. What time she left? So what time should the delegates go? Oh, she's gone already. So the delegates already gone as well. Okay, that's good. So sorry, no more. Unless you have opportunity to visit Brisbane again, please do drop in at APNIC Secretariat. We'll be welcoming you for sure. Just a reminder about the closing dinner at Victoria Park. Again, it's a limited capacity, so if you have a ticket in your name tag, you're most welcome to attend the dinner. The buses will leave at 5:30 p.m. here, the first one, and the last one will be at 6 p.m. And the bus will depart from the venue back to the hotel at 9 p.m. This dinner is sponsored by, as Paul mentioned, V4 Escrow, Nixie, PH Cola, and APGI. So we all see you there, and till then, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before closing the I need to make a clarification when in the part of my presentation for the report of the corporation SIG. I said that we had the volunteer for the acting chair position from Dr. Garvin after Siddiqui and Dean Pemberton, but I need to say that Dean, in the case of the Dean actually presented his willingness to do that job, but still he need some confirmation before she determine his mind. So we will work on that, and you will be informed the situation afterward. Then that's the final information for you. And then thank you very much, everyone. Sunny.
Sorry, Molly came running to me. She said I didn't leave the hotel. No, she's still here. There was no one in the lobby, so she came back. So if anyone interested to visit APNIC Secretariat, she's at the back. Just meet her outside, and she'll take you there to the APNIC. But you'll be back before the buses leave. So please do take this opportunity to visit APNIC Secretariat. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I hope all of you have enjoyed the APNIC 38 pretty much, and thank you, Ben, for being us for the APNIC member meeting. This is the membership's business for us to improve. Thank you very much, and I declare the APNIC 38 APNIC member meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.